All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, all honor, and all praise be to our Heavenly Father through His only begotten Son, our beloved Lord and Savior, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakakwadash. Next, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David. And the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as you speckled-beard Hebrew Israelite foreigners that are scattered amongst the heathen nations that may look like the heathen nations whither they are scattered to. But according to the seed line of your father, you are indeed a Hebrew Israelite. I'm your brother Shabai, and this is another prophecy watch. Okay, we have America plus Israel, all right, the United States of Israel, all right, and Israel tension. Okay, so this is about a day ago at this point. America is sending air power. 1/3 of their Navy assets are being set near Iran. Okay, now the significance of this happening is fulfilling biblical prophecy. Okay, so I actually got this precept right here, but another one just popped in my spirit. It's at Proverbs 24. Okay, so all these nations that all these moves that these nations are making, Salakia, are because Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is stirring the pot and essentially moving them on the chess piece, the chessboard. Okay, the earth is the Lord's footstool. So everything that happens on the earth is completely in control by Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, now you have these Edomites here in America, okay, and really all the Edomites, okay, because Russia, all right, Gog or Magog in the scriptures, all right, they're also proud as well, okay, they're all proud and they all have a scheme, okay, this NWO, it is diametrically opposed to the tabernacle of David being set up on the earth, okay, and the righteous government ruling the earth in righteousness. All right, underneath our Lord Yahweh Shai. They don't want that to happen. This is why it tells you in Psalms, the 2nd chapter, that the heathen imagine a vain thing, which a vain gets into empty. Okay. So this is Zephaniah 3:8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. And this is ultimately what it's going to lead to. Okay, so World War III is here. Okay, we're just in the beginning stages of it. Right, so you see this headline, and I got a couple videos I want to get, a couple precepts, just bring out some understanding. It says Trump inches closer to major war with Iran. And as you can see, the Lord's determination is to gather the nations. Okay, bring them all in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, like it says in Joel, the 3rd chapter, and Lord willing, we'll get that. You see? So it's not Trump inching closer to anything, which, yeah, he is, but who's making him do that? Who's making him do that? Who's putting the spirit on God Emperor Nero to move towards Iran, to do these things? Okay, it's Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. This is Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So here it is, God Emperor Nero, which is Donald Trump. He thinks that he has, all these things in his hand, or the elites, they think even them trying to set up this NWO, it's not in their hands. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is controlling every single spirit, including me right now making this video. You see? So the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, whether he knows it or not. Okay? So let's get a little bit of this first video.
We begin with this Fox News alert. President Trump sticking by diplomacy with indirect nuclear talks with Iran. But fierce power is on the way. Everything is on the table. The president is adding a weapon to the U.S. aircraft carriers, fighter jets, and weapons that he's already sent to the Middle East. He's called it an armada. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. That armada includes the world's largest warship, the USS Gerald Ford, which is now on its way there. The USS Abraham Lincoln arrived to the region late last month. Axios reporting with this headline, Trump moves closer to a major...
And this is fair use, fair use, fair use. I'm not making any money off of this. This is fair use. It's for edification, education, and teaching purposes. Fair use.
War with Iran. A U.S. military operation in Iran would likely be a massive weeks-long campaign that would look more like full-fledged war than last month's pinpoint operation in Venezuela, sources say. Such a war would have a dramatic influence on the entire region and major implications for the remaining 3 years of the Trump presidency. All of that in Axios. And this, the Vice President, J.D. Vance.
We do have a very powerful military. The president's shown a willingness to use it. He also has a remarkable diplomatic team. He's shown a willingness to use that too. With our prime.
All right, and you hear J.D. Vance right here talking about we have. I'm just roughly paraphrasing him. He said that Babylon the Great has a prolific military. All right, let's get this word for prolific. All right. Which he's not telling a lie. Okay, Babylon the Great is the hammer of the earth, and we'll get that. Prolific, present in large numbers or quantities, plentiful. A prolific person is someone who produces a large number of works, ideas, results, and the U.S. military has produced a lot of results. Okay, they've never been touched by any major war. You see, this is why it says in Isaiah the 47th chapter. All right, let's hold that. And then let's also hold Babylon the Great being the hammer of the earth. All right, that's the spirit. Because you got to understand, all right, it's Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua's will to gather these nations. But here it is, Iran, they have supersonic missiles. All right. Hammer of the earth. And the question is, all right, like it says also in here we go. This is Jeremiah 50:23. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon became a desolation among the nations? And this is speaking about the daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great, which is America, mystery Babylon in Revelation, the 17th chapter, right? So this precept, okay, is saying, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? It's like, damn, this superpower, like he says, let's take it back a little bit. Let's hear what he said about the military.
We do have a very powerful military. The president.
We do have a very powerful military, you see? So this is the hammer of the earth. Babylon the Great, okay, is the core, all right? You got to understand that. This is where all the shit goes down at. You see, Babylon is the whore that rides on the beast. So this is the hammer of the earth. So when it goes down, because it is going to go down in World War III, they don't know that though. Okay, they're fulfilling biblical prophecy right now. But the hammer of the earth is going to be cut down. How did Goliath get beat? How did Babylon the Great, this super nation, you know, America, oh my gosh, I never would have thought they would have lost. Okay, it's going to become a desolation. Now, I made a statement. Isaiah 47:1, it says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. All right, sit on the ground, there is no thorn, O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Okay, and it's called the virgin daughter of Babylon because America hasn't seen any crazy major war, right? Neither have they lost. Okay, but World War III, their ass is gonna lose. So, let's get a little bit more of this video.
A willingness to use it. He also has a remarkable diplomatic team. He's shown a willingness to use that too. Our primary interest here is we don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon. We don't want nuclear proliferation. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, there are a lot of other regimes, some friendly, some not so friendly, who would get nuclear weapons after them. That would be a disaster for the American people.
Let's take that
have a dramatic influence on the entire region and major implications for the remaining 3 years of the Trump presidency. All of that in Axios. And this, the Vice President, J.D. Vance.
We do have a very powerful military. The president's shown a willingness to use it. He also has a remarkable diplomatic team. He's shown a willingness to use that too. Our primary interest here is we don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon. We don't want nuclear proliferation. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, there are a lot of other regimes, some friendly, some not so friendly, who would get nuclear weapons after them. That would be a disaster for the American people.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Hashim Yahushai. A disaster is coming. World War III. And Babylon the Great is going to go out by thermonuclear destruction. Now, he said, we don't know if Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. And here it is right here. If you see this headline, it says Nero, Iran can't have nuclear weapons, which we don't know if they do or if they don't, which is saying that they don't. But you got to think, like it says in Joel the 3rd chapter, it doesn't matter because Iran is going to side with China and Russia, right? And they're a part of the BRICS. And Russia got that you know what, and China got that you know what. They got hands, they got them straps. So let's get this real quick. That is let the weak say I am strong. All right. This is Joel 3:10. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spear. Let the weak say I am strong. So Iran sided with China and Russia. It doesn't matter because they have nuclear capabilities. So either way it goes, Babylon the Great, a snare has been laid for them. Yahweh Ba'Hashim Yahushua, he got them. Checkmate. It don't matter where they go. The Lord is going to pull the spirit of God Emperor Nero, these elites and all these people, to do the bidding of the small hats, like it says in Jeremiah, the least of the flock shall draw them out, which are the Tic Tac hats, and they ass is going to be in the Third World War, and they're going to lose through thermonuclear destruction, man. Okay? But the precept says, let the weak say I'm strong, because Iran, it says they don't have, is not known to possess nuclear missiles or nuclear weapons, but they do have hypersonic missiles. And here it is, God Emperor Nero, he's pushing all this, these military assets to camp around Iran, right? But just what if one of them gets shot down? Then what? It's going to be very bad for Babylon the Great. You see that? So ultimately, Iran got when you in school and my big brother gonna beat you up. Don't even worry about it. My big brother gonna whoop your ass. And Iran's big brothers in this case are their allies, which is China and Russia. They're gonna side on them, on their side. So America don't want to fuck with Iran. I mean, Russia. America don't want that work. You see? And these Eastern nations, Russia and China, they itching for Babylon the Great to do something wrong. They already looking at them sideways after the shameful spewiness came out. You see? Frankenstein files just came out, right? These leaders look at Babylon the Great like it's a joke. So him saying we don't want anything to go nuclear, roughly paraphrasing what he said, it's going to go nuclear. You see that? And think about it like this. The two nations that do the most bombing, which is Babylon the Great and the small hats, here it is, they don't want nobody else to have nuclear capability. What makes you think that you have the authority to tell another nation that they can't have atomic weapons when your ass brought the atomic weapons? You dropped Nagasaki and Hiroshima, bro. You did that. Was it Fat Man and Little Boy? You did that. So how you gonna tell these nations that they can't go get no straps? You can't be the only one with straps. That's not how it's gonna work. You see? And like I said, Iran, they don't have nuclear weapons, but wait, there's more. They do got hypersonic missiles though. See? So these hypersonic missiles can shoot down the American aircraft carriers, man. See that? So Babylon the Great, it's not looking good for America, bro. Let's get this real quick. Let's play a little bit more.
The president has all options on the table.
Chief International Correspondent Trey Yinks. Trey.
Harris, good morning. A massive amount of U.S. military equipment continues to flood into the Middle East in preparation for action against...
And this is the Lord's will. You see that he's gathering the nations, all right? The Lord's getting the play ready, all right? You know, like on Madden, when they in the, before they run out to the field, they in the, whatever it's called, and they doing a jump and a fist bumps before they run out to the field. Yahweh Ba'Hashim Yahushua is doing that through the spirit for these nations. Even though Babylon the Great, they see Russia coming out the other side of the tunnel, they ass is scared, all right? They don't want to come out the tunnel. They don't want to run out to the field. But here it is, Babylon the Great is supposed to be the hammer of the earth, this superpower, this unbeatable nation, this great horde that everybody just is so enamored by. Yahweh Ba'Hashim Yahushua is finna put an end to this bitch, man. All right? They're not going to win. It's over. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'Hashim Yahushua. See?
Iran. Reports indicate the U.S. has moved more than 50 fighter jets to the region over the past 24 hours alone. Along with the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group already in place and the USS Gerald R. Ford on the way, there are a variety of other U.S. Navy assets in the Red and Mediterranean seas. While talks on Tuesday left both sides saying that progress was made, there are still major questions about Iran's willingness to curb their nuclear program or address the growing regional ballistic missile threat.
And it ain't gonna be no peace. You see that? This is Isaiah 54:16. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." So Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai gave these devils the thought. Like it said, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. It also tells you in Proverbs 20:4 that man's goings are of the Lord, right? Proverbs 20:24, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Right? So the Lord gave these devils this thought, this technology of making a nuclear missile, an atomic bomb that can destroy cities and countries and all this thing, right? The Lord created the smith, which the modern day smith would be what? A scientist, okay? Neocortex, these, Crash Bandicoot, these Edomites in the lab cooking up these atomic weapons and all these things. But here it is, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai gave these devils the thought and the technology to create it just for them to create it and them to be destroyed by it. See that? So you everyday Americans, you think this shit is a joke, okay? You 2/3 of the nation of Israel, you think the prophets you think this shit is a joke. But this place is about to get nuked. It's about to get bombed. Okay? And this is the lake of fire that John the Revelator saw, man. Right? Now, let's bring it back a little bit because he says
has moved more than 50 fighter jets to the region over the past 24 hours alone.
Over 50 fighter jets in the past 24 hours alone, right? Let's hold this, right? Because the Lord, like I said, is getting the chess pieces ready. Let's go here. This is Joel 3:2. It says, "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat," which is Yahweh's judgment. It's over there in the Levant region, okay? Where the Euphrates is drying up, "and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." You see that? So this is all for the controversy of Zion. For you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And the Lord is going to be with the elect through all of this. This is the gospel. This is the euangelion, that the Lord is coming back to fight for us. But anybody not in the spirit of serving the Lord or any of these things, or your life is here in Babylon the Great and you care about your career, your ass, you ain't going to make it. You see, because the Lord is not with this place. Okay? This place got to go. And ultimately, Babylon the Great, they only have but a short time. Okay, World War III won't break, though, until the Sea-Hip comes out. Okay, every 99% of the planet has to get chipped. The elect will not get chipped. Okay? Let's get this real quick. Then we'll get another video. Let me queue up a little video. Slide.
Against U.S. military. The Trump administration.
Let's get this. All right? Because this country only had, they're working on the Lord's time. And the clock is ticking. It tells you in the book of Job, I believe the 14th chapter, that the Lord has set the bounds in which he cannot pass. So the Lord gave these heathen nations, now with Esau, Edom, he gave them an allotted time on the earth to rule. The Heavenly Father, he's fair. Before Yahushua comes back, takes the nation down, take all the nations down, and sets up the kingdom of heaven, and the Israelites rule for eternity. There will never be another heathen ruling the earth. But we're at the end of Esau's kingdom right now. We're at the end of his rulership. This is why these things are happening. This is Revelation 17:11. It says, "And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th and is of the 7th, goeth into perdition." All right, and this word perdition gets into destruction. And the beast is the red dragon, okay? The Roman Empire. You see that Esau Edom's power structure, okay? It was not because they had to go down during the Dark Ages, okay? And then they came up out of the bottomless pit and pushed out the Renaissance. You see that? And the 8th is of the 7th because America came out of Great Britain. You see that? So the 8th is going to go into perdition, which is destruction. So this beast system that they're trying to set up It's not gonna work. See? And it's Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shai's indignation to rise up against these nations to fulfill his will, man, in biblical prophecy. And thus saith the scriptures, and thus saith Yahweh Bahashim Al-Shai, this place is going to get completely destroyed, completely disintegrated. It's going to be a desert. Nobody's ever going to live here again.
Is closer to a major war in the Middle East than most Americans realize. That's Axios reporting last night what most of us are seeing, that it is looking more and more like war with Iran is imminent. I mean, this is the largest buildup of U.S. military forces in the Middle East in decades, significantly larger than recent operations against Venezuela or even last year's strikes on Iran, Operation Midnight Hammer. So today we're going to talk about what is happening right now, as well as some arguments being made for and against U.S. military action in Iran. And I want to start with the scale of this buildup. Ian Ellis over on X doesn't...
You hear that? The scale of the buildup. You see? A war is imminent. It's here. Okay? We're here, man.
Incredible job documenting what is publicly known in terms of U.S. military assets in the region. And you should look at this chart, which I think Ian's going to have to make this a two-pager before too long. It's getting awfully small.
Now we understand, like I said, or like the book of Joel said, the 3rd chapter, that this is just the Lord getting the chess pieces ready. War is not going to happen tomorrow or next week. We understand that before war happens, the hour of temptation has to come, which is the RFID microseal, Revelation 13-16, the mark of the beast. That has to come before the great deliverance. You see that, and ultimately before a war pops off. Because the war and Yahushua coming back, the Lord, when Yahushua comes back, he's just going to be doing a lot of burning, a lot of killing, and he's putting the icing on the cake. It's over with. So before that happens, the chip has to come. But this is Revelation 18:8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, speaking about Babylon the Great. Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh Bahashim Yahshua who judgeth her. Fire from the nuclear missiles, and fire also from the chariots. All right, with Yahushua, Michael, and the rest of the heavenly hosts coming and getting down. This place is going to become the lake of fire. Okay? It's going to get burned. It's going to get quaked. The whole earth is going to quake. You see that?
But I mean, it gives you an idea of how much is headed to the region, but this is just what is public. And just in the last few hours, we've already got more information that American F-22s have left the United States en route to the Middle East. The last time that they were used during Operation Midnight Hammer, they arrived in theater 4 days before those strikes were carried out, something to keep back of mind. Additionally, there is a non-stop flow of supply and logistics aircraft, be it cargo planes or refuelers, heading from around the world, mostly the United States and Europe, into the Middle East right now. The buildup there has not stopped. It is continuing. And there's nothing like this that I can remember. All right, so the last time that we had anything near this size happening in the Middle East was late 2002 into early 2003, the lead up to the eventual invasion of Iraq.
All right, let's get a little bit of this video right here.
All right, welcome.
Okay, fair use. Now, we understand that, like the scriptures say, the least of the flock shall draw them out. So America is really just do boys for the small hats, because America really don't, a lot of the time, America really don't have no problems with like Iran or these different countries, but it's really the small hats. You know, the small hats is that one dude in class who's always trying to get your ass in trouble. He's always trying to bring you into some shit. You're like, hey man, leave me alone. But he always bring you into some shit, and he always get you in trouble whenever you hang out with him. That's what the small hats are to Babylon the Great. All right. So America really just do boys for the small hats, and Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, like he said, like the dude said in that video, all these military assets are going to the region, you know, but ultimately Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is laying a snare for Babylon. Okay, like I said, either where it goes, it don't matter where God Emperor Nero tries to turn, the snare is set. Okay, they're gonna fall for the snare that Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai set for them, man, because it's written. They can't get out of it. This is Jeremiah 50 and 24, Salakia. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, and everything about this country is anti-Hamashayakim, or what y'all would say is anti-Christ. You see, there's no biblical values. The throne of David is not being talked about. There's no righteousness here. You see, your president, he's a Mo, okay? All your elites are FAPHAGGETs. See that? And ultimately, Yahweh Bahashim Shai, the scriptures say, I suffer not a wish to live. And this place is rooted in witchcraft, sorcery, okay, enchantments, pseudoscience. Okay? So Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, he's laid a snare for Babylon the Great that they're going to fall in. It's like Tom and Jerry when Tom, he stretch out the black hole, or Jerry, he stretch out the black hole, he throw it on the ground, and Tom, he he just fall in it. That's what's going to happen to Babylon the Great. You see? Because the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. All right?
The show, y'all. It is Wednesday, February 18th, and I have a really, really important show for you today. So we're going to get to some breaking news in just a second. It is massive, massive news. But before I get to that, let me just tell you, in this show, we also have, I think we may have found the worst Epstein files. I think we may have found below. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every time a video drops. And let's go ahead and jump right in, because the major breaking news I have for you right now, y'all, is that an Iran war may be imminent. It may be imminent. And then we'll get to this in just a second, but there's some whispers about tactical nukes potentially being used here.
See that?
Okay, so let's start with this. Breaking, Axios reports that there is evidence that U.S. war with Iran is imminent, and Israel is preparing for a scenario of war within days, which is expected to include weeks-long, full-fledged war, unlike the Venezuela operation, joint U.S.-Israeli campaign that is much broader in scope than the 12-day war in June. The U.S. Armada now consists of 2 aircraft carriers, 12 warships, hundreds of fighter jets, and multiple air defense systems. More than 150 U.S. military cargo flights have moved weapons, systems, and ammunition to the Middle East, and another 50 fighter jets in 24 hours have been sent, including F-35s, F-22s, and F-16s. Oil prices are surging above $64 a barrel on this news, okay? So this is a disaster, y'all. I warned you a million times over. When you look at the Iraq War, we were there for over 20 years. It was a catastrophe. We killed hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians. We displaced millions. Never mind the torture black sites that we...
And let's get that. You heard him. He said, we've tortured millions. He's speaking about Babylon the Great. And Esau, Edom here in Babylon the Great, they haven't been scared of blood. So blood is going to cover them. You see, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, here it is. Esau, Edom is the only nation of people that haven't went to the principal's office, that haven't gotten judged, you know. But here it is. You niggas want to save the devil that the Bible speaks of. And when we say that Esau, Edom is the devil, you know, Jake start getting scared or bugged out. This nigga's the devil, man. And devil just simply means adversary. You see that? Bless y'all. Pursue these Salakia. All right. So Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai has a beautiful judgment lined up for Babylon the Great. This place is about to get destroyed. This kingdom is about to go down. You see that? And it's called Halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai because we understand that the elect, through all of this, still get the victory, man. There's a way out through Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So we don't have to fear. This is not our fight. You see that? This is the Lord's determination to do this, man. And whatever the Lord want to do, we with the Lord. This is Ezekiel 35:6. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sit thou has not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So here he is. He said, we've done all these things. We took all these bodies in Iraq for over 20 years. There's a heavy, heavy tab that these devils got to pay. They ain't paid yet. They're going to pay. Best believe that. And they're going to go out with a bang. Okay? And ultimately, no amount of talks or peace meetings, these Eastern nations are going to blow this bitch up. Excuse my language. These Eastern nations, they used to war, man. All right? They're not scared to go to war. And the American people, you everyday Babylonians, these niggas eat Fritos and Skittles. Effeminate, weak, soft. Niggas be grown as hell with dreads and a beard crying over girls and shit like that. You see? So what are you Egyptians? What are you Assyrians? What are you Babylonians gonna do when these things pop off? A lot of y'all niggas is going to the draft and y'all think this is a game. See? So, but going back to Babylon the Great, no amount of peace talks and no amount of money and bribing is going to get them out of this situation, man. Let's get these and we'll close out. Lord willing, this is edifying. This is Isaiah 48:22. There is no peace, saith Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, to the wicked. And this is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. This nation of people, man. Okay? We looking for the Lord to come back and deliver us, man. To beam us up. Even if we got to get put down, we know that we're going to come right back. The Lord going to give us a new save file. See? But for the wicked, oh, no. It's over. You niggas is finna get destroyed, nuked, and then you going into slavery. You see that? And Esau, Edom, you're getting it the worst in the kingdom. Okay? So this is not a game. This is real life. And let's get this. Isaiah the 13th chapter. Let's get look at this. Babylon will fall to the Medes.
Trump administration.
Now, this is speaking about Babylon the Great is going to fall to the Medes, because if you know anything about the history, ancient Babylon didn't fall to the Medes. See that? And the Medes right now is Russia. Okay, just to keep it simple. This is Isaiah 13:17. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, against Babylon the Great." This is Russia. Okay, and the nations that are aligned with them, which includes Iran, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So they're not. It's not going to be any amount of money or bags or peace talks, like the scriptures say. When they shall say peace and safety, then suddenly destruction shall come upon them. Roughly paraphrasing that. So it ain't. And Babylon the Great is in Ibatyat, like it says in Habakkuk 2. Thick clay, heavy debts. You see? And the American dollar is losing its value. It's fiat currency. It's not backed by anything. So Babylon the Great is literally in an assed out situation. The only thing left for Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to do is to nuke this bitch, man. Right? That's it. It's over. That's the spirit. Let's keep going. Isaiah 13:18. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare the children. Right? These Eastern nations don't give a damn about pregnant people, pregnant mamas, and little babies. Oh my God, there's a little baby in San Diego. Don't send a nuke. No. Okay? The missiles is finna hit everybody that's not of the elect. The missiles are going to destroy your ass, man. See? This is real life. This is not a game. And you niggas are scoffing against the prophets, man. The same shall know it as death by pain, man, as the scriptures say. And I'll close out with this. Isaiah 13:19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency, Babylon the Great, America, tender and delicate. Everybody was so enamored by America. It's such the place to be. Oh, California, Florida. What? See? Continuing on, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It's going to be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. And you know what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Fire and brimstone. The same judgment is associated with Babylon the Great. Mystery Babylon. And the closeout will go here. Isaiah 13:20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. So it ain't going to be no more goddamn 7-Elevens, no more big gulps. Okay, the Arabian pitching their tent. No. You see, it's never going to be inhabited again. This place is going to be a complete desert where dragons and owls live. Nobody's ever going to live here, man. See, that's how bad the Yahweh Bahashim is going to destroy this place, man. But Lord willing, this is edifying to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. I want to end up by giving all glory, all honor, and all praises be to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Harakakodash. Next, double honors to the elders and the apostle Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom, keep the faith. A Bible ball, keep the faith.